what is happening with the Google Pixel 5, Google's upcoming smartphone for 2020, which seems to have been completely forgotten. Or at least you would assume that, since we haven't really had any major leaks, even though by this time last year, Google themselves even tweeted the full design of the Pixel 4, just because of how many leaks we've had of it up until that point. Not only that, but we even had full review videos of the Pixel 4 that came out months before the phone was even announced. So yeah, the Pixel 4 ended up being the most leaked phone since, I believe, the iPhone 4. Whether or not this was done on purpose, we cannot know for sure. But what we do know is that the Pixel 5 is just 3 months away, and we've barely had any leaks about it. So here's everything that we do know about the Pixel 5 so far. So get us snacks ready. This is the Pixel 4, by the way. So it's not a Pixel 5 mockup or anything like that. It's literally just the Pixel 4. Anyways, let's take a look at everything we know so far in terms of the Pixel 5. If you want to get these really cool badges next to your name in the comments, well, simply become a member by tapping or clicking on the join button down below. Okay, so let's be honest. Google has pretty much never had a good-looking Pixel phone. Like the Pixel 1 from 2016, it looked just like the iPhone, which at a time had some gigantic bezels. Not only that, but the fact that the Pixel also had that Android navigation bar made the chin even more gigantic than it actually was. And the back just looked, yeah, it just looked weird. The Pixel 2 from 2017 thinned out all the bezels considerably, but 2017 was the year when we also got the iPhone 10 and the Samsung Galaxy S8. The very first smartphones that started removing all the bezels entirely and the home button in order to have a full screen display. And Google was once again at least a year behind. Then the Pixel 3 from 2018 had that gigantic notch, even bigger than on the iPhone. But you see, that notch didn't really have any 3D facial recognition sensors like the iPhone did. Instead, it only had a secondary front camera, which was a wide-angle lens, but that was it. I do have to say the back of the Pixel 3 was improved with the inclusion of frosted glass, and that was my favorite back on any smartphone, so that was quite amazing. And then finally, in 2019, we had the Pixel 4. And instead of Google removing that gigantic notch altogether, like most of the competition was already doing, Google actually went back to that Pixel 2 style design, with thicker bezels on the top and the bottom. Mostly the top. Now, at least we did get a 3D depth sensing camera system with the Pixel 4, just like the iPhone had it. However, the Pixel 4 still looked very outdated design-wise. And that's the thing, when you build a smartphone, you can indeed make it extremely exciting for us, the tech nerds, by adding sensors that can sense your hand from 30 centimeters away, and really cool stuff like that. But you see, the majority of people, they don't really care about all of that at all. The majority of people only care about how good the phone looks and how much it actually costs. And with the Pixel 5, it seems like Google will finally be focusing on these two things, the looks and the price. So we've actually had a recent leak from XLeaks7, who in partnership with Peak2, he shared some CAD models and also some renders based on those CAD models of the Pixel 5. So this is how we modeled our very own concept, and here's how it looks. So it seems that Google will finally be bringing a modern display to the Pixel line by dropping the notch and the forehead altogether and going for a full screen display with an in-display camera cutout. Like most of the other manufacturers have been doing since early 2019. Now, the frame surrounding the phone, aka the bezel, is now thinner and seems to be about the same size as we have on the iPhone 10. The sides are pretty much identical to the Pixel 4 sides, with a color power button and a volume button on the right hand side and nothing on the left, aside from the SIM tray. The back is really where we get to see some actual changes, aside from, the display. So on the leaked CAD files, the camera is pretty much identical to the Pixel 4 one, at least when it comes to the number of the modules, which is very disappointing to see now that smartphone manufacturers are now even moving towards 4 or even 5 camera module systems. And Google is still sticking with a dual camera module. Also, the fingerprint reader on the back from the Pixel 3 is apparently returning, at least according to these CAD files. Okay, so I honestly do not see this happening at all. Like, everyone is using an in-display fingerprint reader, and they have been for quite a few years now. So I really don't see Google going back in time to having a fingerprint reader on the back. I just don't see that happening. But hey, it's it's Google, so anything's possible. Now, we've actually removed that from our concept, and we've obviously embedded that into the display assembly. And we've also done one more change, which is in terms of the camera module. So we've added one more module for a total of 3 rather than just 2. I don't know, to me that simply makes the most amount of sense. Now, when it comes to the colors, the Pixel 5 is rumored to come in 2 colors, black and white. But I would expect them to release at least one special color, similar to the ones that we've seen in the years prior, such as so orange, purplish, and not pink. We haven't really had any leaks in terms of that, so we've actually created our very own colors. So we call this Tasteful Turquoise, and I think it just looks incredible, especially with that white power button. Like, I would definitely buy this, should Google actually release this color. Okay, so that was the design. Now, what about the actual display? The Pixel 4 had a 90Hz refresh rate, so anything crazy like 120Hz or something this year. Well, according to all the leaks that we've seen, Google will be keeping the same 90Hz refresh rate as last year, but the display size is getting actually smaller. So from 6.3 inches on the Pixel 4 XL to 5.78 inches, making it around the same size as the iPhone X, XS, or the iPhone 11 Pro. However, this is still set to remain an AMOLED display with a Quad HD resolution. Okay, that's quite strange. Why is the display getting smaller? Well, it's probably because of the Pixel 4a and the Pixel 4a XL. So we're actually getting a few models of the Pixel, and there's a lot of confusion, which I'll cover in just a second. So I think some of these leaks might actually get mixed up between all of these phones. So according to some code found by 95Google, in the latest version of the Google Search app, Google would not only have the Pixel 5 XL model, but also the Pixel 4a, Pixel 4a 5G, and Pixel 5. Actually, I'm joking. So apparently there's no Pixel 5 XL. Yeah, so just 3 models in that case, 4a, Pixel 4a XL, and Pixel 5. Speaking of the Pixel 4a, the official render of the Pixel 4a has appeared on Google's website earlier this week. And we even got to see a full leaked billboard featuring the Pixel 4a, which matches with the design on Google's website. So it seems like the Pixel 4a's launch is imminent, and the Pixel 5 leak seems to match up with that Pixel 4a front design. So it is quite likely that Google would be announcing all of these phones at the same time. That's also why there's so much confusion when it comes to the specs, as we've seen reports that Google would keep the Pixel 5 as a mid-range device this year, which I'll cover more in just a second. Okay, now in terms of the camera, OnLeaks has posted this schematic that shows not just all 4 upcoming Pixel phones for 2020, but also their camera arrangement. Now, he did mention that this is likely not 100% accurate, at least on the Pixel 5 side, as we're still waiting on a lot of details to be confirmed. Nonetheless, this schematic does point to the Pixel 5 having a triple lens camera module as opposed to the dual one on the Pixel 4a's. But you see, one of these modules would actually be the flash, which means that the Pixel 5 only has 2 cameras, so same as the 4, while the Pixel 4a would only have 1 camera. And the leaks are saying that at least the main camera on the Pixel 4a's would be identical to the Pixel 4's main camera, which was mostly identical to the Pixel 3's camera. Now, we don't know anything in terms of the specs of the Pixel 5's camera, and if this is getting any improvements or not. Probably not, I would say. And we also don't know what that second camera module would be for. Like, would it be the same telephoto module that we got on the Pixel 4, or a brand new ultra-wide angle module instead? Yeah, I'm really hoping that it's an ultra-wide angle module, or even better, a triple lens camera system with both a telephoto and an ultra-wide angle module. But the thing is, even if the hardware remains the same, I do expect Google to make some improvements in terms of the image processing and the software. Google's magic is really when it comes to the software, and this is why Pixel phones have always had such a great camera, because of all that Google image processing and machine learning. Okay, now when it comes to the performance, this is a bit of an odd one. You see, we've actually seen many reports that Google would not be including a flagship level processor in the Pixel 5 this year. So that means no Snapdragon 865 or anything like that, but instead they would be including Qualcomm's mid-range 765G processor. Now, I gotta say, performance-wise, this is a fairly decent processor, and also Qualcomm's lowest entry chip that does support 5G. But you see, the problem here is that all these leaks are saying that both the Pixel 4a, the Pixel 4a XL, and also the Pixel 5 will all come with the same chip. Which begs the question, what will the Pixel 5 have over the Pixel 4a's, aside from that extra camera lens? And also, why would Google make such a move? Like, keep in mind that the Pixel phones, as they were released in October pretty much every single year, they were quite late in terms of implementing a new processor. You see, Qualcomm announces their new chips in December, so just 2 months after the Pixel phone's launch, and yeah, they were already outclassed by a faster processor. And while the Pixel phones were quite very well optimized in the past, so we haven't really had any performance issues, RAM management issues were always a problem, as Pixel phones only came with 4 or 6 GB of RAM, where other smartphones, Android smartphones, came with 8, 12, or even 16 GB of RAM. And the Pixel 5, by the way, is said to be sticking to 6 GB of RAM. Okay, now when it comes to special features, water resistance and wireless charging will still be there, at least on the Pixel 5. But it seems like that 3D facial recognition technology, that camera array on the front, that's going away. And while that is a bit of a shame to see, as Google has actually done a much better job when it comes to implementing that, so Face Unlock, when compared to even Apple, the majority of the users, they would still pick a better looking phone than a not so great looking phone that comes with a few extra features. Right, battery life. So the Pixel 4 had a fairly poor battery life. The Pixel 4 XL was a bit better, but it still wasn't great. Now, at the moment, we don't have any leaks in terms of the Pixel 5's battery life, but from the looks of it, it would remain identical to the Pixel 4's, or even getting a bit smaller due to the entire device also getting smaller. Fast charging is expected to remain the same at 18 watts, and a charge of up to 50% in around 30 minutes, which is, pretty good, but uncomparable to, have you seen the latest fast charging from Oppo that can charge a smartphone in 20 minutes and up to 50% in 3 minutes? Yeah, check that out. It's pretty nuts. Okay, so what about the release date now? When are we going to see the Pixel 4a's and the Pixel 5? Well, the Pixel 4a's launch seems to be quite imminent. Not just judging by the sheer number of leaks that we've had on it, but also judging by the leaked press image on Google's website. Plus, the Pixel 4a's have been long overdue. This one was actually supposed to launch in May 2020, and yeah, it's not out yet, obviously because of the whole outbreak, so that's why it has been delayed. Now, the Pixel 5, on the other hand, this is a bit of a different story. As you see, Pixel phones have always launched around October, but we've also had a ton of leaks in the past around this time, meaning that Google could either delay the Pixel 5 until November or even December, or they would be releasing the Pixel 5 alongside the Pixel 4a's as a slightly higher end version of that. So it would be a higher end mid-range phone rather than a true flagship smartphone. And I really do think that this is what's going to happen. You see, the problem with Pixel phones is that they were priced like flagships, but they were never really full flagship smartphones. Like, they lacked a lot of features that a competition had. Features such as a modern design, or a high amount of RAM, or dual or a triple camera module system. And like I said, even the processor was already out of date 2 months after the Pixels were announced. However, by Google marketing the Pixel 5 as a mid-range device or than a flagship, they can actually still keep most of those features, but they can cut back on the CPU performance, which was already pretty good, to be honest. And as a result, they would also drop the price by quite a bit. So the Pixel 4a is rumored to start at $350, whereas the Pixel 5 is rumored to be priced around $500 to $700. However, the Pixel 5 would need to seriously outclass the 4a's if Google wants to be able to actually charge this much for it. So at the end of the day, there is nothing really that points to the Pixel 5 being a revolutionary smartphone at all, or even a smartphone that competes with the flagships of today, or even the flagships of yesterday to some extent. Google has tried competing with flagships for so many years now, and aside from the camera, which was indeed true flagship level, they have failed, unfortunately. And now they seem to have just moved into another direction, focusing on the mid-range smartphone market instead. So let me know in the comments, what do you guys think about all of this? The Pixel 5 becoming a mid-range device? And what do you guys think? What do you think the Pixel 5 should have in terms of features over the Pixel 4a's? if you were to buy such a phone. If you want to see more videos such as this one, definitely subscribe, hit the bell icon so that you get notified whenever a new cool tech video comes out, and definitely become a member if you want to get those really cool badges and also support the channel at the same time. So yeah, thank you for watching. I'm Daniel, and I'll see you guys in the next one. ZONEofTECH signing out. Cheers.